But I don't want no tea. It gives me a headache.
Oh, what shall we have then?
Coffee.
Hello everyone. Alright, today I'm going to show you how to put on tissue paper for this canvas cover. And this is my third take. I've learned from my mistakes. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just use regular tissue paper. If you ever go to the hospital or you have a friend who goes to the hospital, take the extra packets of facial tissue. This is the roughest stuff. It'll scratch your nose to heck, but it's really good for doing canvas covers. Don't buy that stuff, the aloe vera or the scented crap. Buy the basic thing. If you can get the basic tissue paper. I like this because it's so rough and thick. It's 2-ply. It's very absorbent, so I would recommend using that. Now, I'm going to add a little bit more water here to my white glue. I'm just using regular glue all now stronger formula. Alright, and my trial and error, I have the good thing about this, if you're playing with this, if it doesn't look right, you don't like it, just go ahead and take it over to the sink, douse it with water, it comes right off, you can start again. It's no big deal. So what I've done first is I've taken a small piece here, I'm going to attach it to here like that. It's a little damp on there, so basically that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this over a little bit. And there we go. See, it's a little damp. Let's attach it on there. Take a brush. I have a nice what is it, number 4 round, very soft. And what you want to do, mix this up here with some water. You want this to be like not like glue, but you want it to drip. So I'm going to do a little bit more. You don't want it too thick, because you're too thick, you're going to tear it. And you know, it won't look good, and you'll be all mad at yourself. Alright, so let me move this aside. Like I said, you're just playing with wood, you're playing with water and that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come along here, saturate this part here, get it in. Try and have no wrinkles if you can. You're just trying to coat this. You're going to have some wrinkles. That's natural. Okay? Alright. So there. We've got that piece on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this a little bit more here. Little wrinkles are kind of give it a little character. You know, I know they have this stretched pretty tight across there. Let me get my magnifiers on here. The reason I'm doing this, I have to lay the other one over top of here because I cannot bend this paper around the whole thing. I have to do it from the top all the way down. So, like in roofing or in anything else, you have to work your way upward. Now, I don't like that. It's a little too much. So what I'm going to do, take some of that off. See, when it gets wet, it just really falls apart real easy for you. So, if you don't like it, tear at it, but be very careful, because if you tear too much, it'll rip a piece off that you're like, no, I don't need it, I need that piece. Alright, let's hit this along here, force any junk out we don't want. And what I also have, they said hit it lightly, don't hit it too hard, you will be mad at yourself when you tear it. I have a dry brush here. Well, it's wet, but it's just a drier brush. It doesn't have all the white glue on it and stuff. And that will help push down anything I don't want in the way. Alright, so there we go. Now, that's that piece. I know you can see the sides here, but the new piece, if this works out the way I want it to, or this is, like I said, this is my third filming of this. You don't want to see me cursing on the last two. Alright, so we take a bigger piece that's measured out for this. It's going to overlap, of course. And what I want to do, I got to get down there like that. So let's get like that. Let's do... you know what? I don't know. It's got a crease in it, but that shouldn't much matter. Alright. Sorry if I'm out of camera. Trying to get this thing in place. Alright, so that's good right there. Now, let's start working our way from the top here down. And this is the best way to do this. If you need to pull it a little bit, get it straight, go ahead. You don't want a lot of wrinkles if you can help it. Alright. Hold on. I know you can't see a lot of this. There we go. If it has a little few wrinkles, that's fine. Get down here. I mean, you want it to match what the mallet looks like. You're just giving this thing like a texture, really, is what you're doing. Yes, you want all my seam lines. I made sure when I put these two pieces together, and I showed you on that one video, that I made sure, oops, that they didn't have a seam line. So that'll add a little extra detail to it. Alright, so now what I've got to do is I've got to come down on that. So what I want to do is I want this without a whole lot of wrinkles. Here I'm putting this on. Alright, see how it's going to cover over top of what it did here. That will hopefully hide, like on a roof. You have the bottom shingle, the next shingle covers that. That's exactly what you want to do. So I found out earlier. Yeah, it's alright. Do the same thing here. Now, as you can see, earlier I attempted to do one whole piece on this, and the problem with that was that it really did not turn out well at all. It just, I had too many bad areas that were not working together well. Okay, so now what I've got, I worked my way down to the bottom. You got to keep working this, and what I'm going to have to do is use my handy dandy scissors here. Cut out all this excess that I really don't need. Always helps to have little scissors. And this stuff is so thick. That's why it's good to use 2-ply. That it allows you to work with it for a while before it gets too soggy and looks like junk. Alright, hold on. Okay. Let's get this lifted up a little bit. There we go. What you want. Sorry if you're not seeing every little thing. I'm trying, but it's more important that I get this done correctly than show you every little detail, but I will try my best. Now I'm overlapping this onto here. This will come down onto here. This will come behind there. Alright, so a little bit of water on there. A little white glue. And on the bottom you won't see all this as much, but I still want to make it look decent, you know. I mean, I can only do so much. I'm trying to mix that in there. Why am I doing that? I don't know. Wiping it off of my mat. Alright, remember, it will start, if it gets too saturated like this, it will start tearing. And if it starts tearing, pull it along. But don't pull it too far. Don't stretch it beyond its limits. Come on. There we go. You just want to make sure this gets tacked on really well. Oh, come on. Why is this being so difficult? I'll cut some slits out of it. There we go. Now, pull that along. Kind of feather that in if I can. Ah! Put a little too hard, but that's alright. I can fix that. Alright, there we go. Alright. I want to stop playing with it now. I want to make sure this gets down And this overlapping here is much better underneath here where you're not going to see it as much than sitting there trying to put it on a top piece where you're like, oh no, you know, well, I'll see that big seam line. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this, fold a lot of this inside, fold that in, fold that in. Then I'm going to start drying this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this done the way I want it, and I'm happy. I'm going to take this over and use my blow dryer and blow dry it, and then I'll come back. Alright? Okay, I'll be back in a few. Alright, well, I've been hitting it with a blow dryer, and let me see how good I can focus it in on for you here, folks. There you go. Now, it's still damp, but I mean it's drying, but it actually stretches tighter over it when it dries. You know, the water evaporates, it pushes it around, the glue tightens up. Now, I will probably end up putting on, we're late here, if this helps or not, I don't know. I will probably put on, let this dry completely, then I'll put on a few more coats of white glue and water to help soak it in, because it gives it that little bit better canvas look, I think, the more coat you put on. So I think it'll turn out really nice when I get it finished. You want that cool look. I mean, nothing does it better. I mean, you can try and make it look like canvas, but you have a seam line here. A lot of it gets really smooth. This, because of the saturations of the glue will allow you to, it won't gloss it out, but it'll soak in, harden it. It still can be peeled up, so you have to be very careful with it. Like around these edges here up front, I have to glue this in like this. If I see any indiscrepancies or whatever you want to call it, I can either, once it's dried, it's not that bad. Once it's dried, I can put a little putty on there, whatever I wanted to do on the edges, or just glue it down tighter. It all depends on how you want to do it. I'll glue it down probably with Model Master glue, come in from behind it with probably some instant glue. But what I probably will end up doing is a few more coats of white glue and water, let them dry, primer it. And then I can cut it off this little homemade stand that I made. You know, you can see it there, how I just 10x7 it and got it on there so I could do all this work, because there's no way you're going to do this part with holding it. It'll ruin it. So let me let this dry and put a few more coats of white glue and water on, and I'll primer it, see how it looks. It should be fine. It'll stretch even a little tighter and as it dries, so I'm looking forward to it. But that's basically how you do this. You use basic hospital or basic roughest piece of junk 2-ply tissue paper you can get anywhere. Use that. Cut it to the size you need. This is, like I said, this is my first one that I did that had a whole thing in the center. Usually it's a flat piece or a round piece, but it didn't have a hole in the center. I had to wrap it around or something like that. But this is an interesting one. Like I said, this is my third take. Alright, that's how you do it. So now you guys know, practice makes perfect. Keep trying. I just want to show you how I do this, and thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll get back to you later on another episode that'll probably show this finished or close to finish or something like that. Alright, thanks a lot. Bye.